morning for some, noon for others. And in the UK, I have no idea, but they were live this morning with the conference. And so I did stream some of that into our team Facebook group with one of my favorite speakers, John Halawate. So you have to check that out. And I'll see how much I can stream tomorrow as well. And what did you want to say before we get started, honey?
I didn't really have anything to say.
Okay.
I'm excited to hear your training. I don't even remember this one. This is gonna be great.
I don't think you were there. So this is a little more old school. So, we focused a lot on social media this past week, but it also comes down to being persistent and consistent and just having resilience in this business. And then you'll have that compound effect for the future where this becomes income for the whole family. So you want to be able to keep your mind straight and knowing the activities and things like that that will really pay off for you. Okay. So that's what we're going to focus on. And welcome to Morgan. She's on Kelly's team. I'm not sure what team Randy's on, but welcome to you. And welcome
Welcome.
all of you guys who are on here today. And go ahead. Somebody saying something? No. Okay. I'll go ahead and
Well, I also want to go ahead and welcome and remember that we're getting a lot more views on Facebook. So everybody that's watching this on Facebook, welcome to the team. If you want to tag any team members in the Facebook post or just say hi over there, that would be awesome. But we value you guys here on the team, and we're glad you're here, and we're excited to train you up. Let's go.
and for those people who are seasoned, think about what I'm talking about and piggyback on it after I'm done. Okay, so I'm going to do a little bit of training, and then I want you guys, as always, because it's a team effort, and they might hear something from me, but you guys will cement it for them with your wisdom. Okay, all right, so we're going to get started. Hold on one second. If I can find everything. There we go. All right, so this is just a little something here. I like the bottom part. Success is the sum of small efforts repeated day in and day out. And that's really what this business is. It's like wash, rinse, repeat. And so once you learn what this business is about, it's just a daily thing that it compounds into um, a big dynasty and legacy for your family. So, we're going to talk about taking your Juice Plus virtual franchise seriously today, okay? So, what you want to do for some of you is move from being interested to committed. That is a huge thing. Once you commit, you can actually move your business much faster and with more pinpoint focus. And so, you got to figure out what is your why? What is it that you want to accomplish? Your why has to be bigger than the obstacles that you might encounter. Like Sandy being at home with the kids, her why needs to be bigger than the obstacles. And I remember doing the business with small kids at home. That's why I have the picture of the gremlin. The gremlin now for me is the dog. But you have to be able to push past those distractions and be able to make the Juice Plus business a priority because you understand the potential for yourself and for your family in the future. So you have to, I remember saying it's like going against the waves of the ocean sometimes, but you've got to figure out how to go with the current but still get whatever you need to do done so that you can continue to build. So one of the things you need to do is overcome your fear of talking to people by building your belief in how this product can change people's lives. Okay, so really getting your Juice Plus belief to a 10 for sure. Someone mentioned to me on a three-way call, they shouldn't have, that Juice Plus is expensive. And I'm like, oh, and I let it go once, and then I was like, okay, I just have to say this. To me, it's not like buying a vitamin or a supplement, it's like buying a better body. So I've received a better body by having a good daily habit of Juice Plus every day. I know from the research my immune system's better, my inflammation is down in my body, I'm less at risk for disease, I'm aging slower because of oxidative stress. So once you kind of learn the research and you understand what you have in your hands, then fear shouldn't be as big of a factor Because as Eleanor Roosevelt says, when what you have to say is more important than what others think of you, fear will stop being an issue. So really, a lot of times we're afraid of what somebody's going to think of us. But sometimes if we our confidence to the point where we know what we know, what we know, and we know better than them. I hate to say it, but we have really taken the time to learn. You know, we understand what's happening in the body. We understand why we need so many fruits and vegetables. We understand that iceberg lettuce, tomatoes, salsa is not going to do it. Banana, you know, a banana here and there, that's not it. We need raw, vine ripened, fresh, dark, dense fruits and vegetables every day to fight the battle that we're fighting with ourselves, okay? Not ourselves, ourselves. So, also ourselves sometimes. Okay, so that's one way to get rid of some fear we have of talking to people. And I'm trying to figure out my little screen here. Okay, so we're gonna seriously share about the product. And sorry, I gotta move things. We wanna first be a product of the products, you know? If somebody's just signing up and they're just on the Duo, I don't really think they're going to be as successful at sharing all the products, right? So having a really good product story starts with having the people on the product, okay? Selling people on getting educated, not on the product, but getting to an event or getting to a video so that they can learn more about the product is what we're really selling them on. We're selling on education or we're selling on our community. So selling them on getting into our Facebook groups, that's going to help them understand more about just changing little parts of their diet so that they can be on a better track to health. And then looking at this as a gift, you know, a lot of times we're shy to share Juice Plus because we're really not thinking of this as a gift. So I like to say, I'm thankful somebody shared this with me 21 years ago, you know, it's really changed the trajectory of my family's health because it is a gift. I can kind of stand back on that thankfulness, okay, or gratefulness. So think of it as a gift. And the thing is, with a gift, you don't want to have a expectation of receiving something back, right? You know, do we think about, oh, am I going to get a thank you card or am I going to get a gift back from these people? No. So when you freely give, then things will come back to you. Okay. You just have to not have a scarcity mentality, but an abundance mentality of sharing this gift as if, hey, I want to make sure you understand this. Whether you order it or not, that's up to you, but I want to make sure you know. And has anybody really educated you on this gift? And so I did reach out to this vegan bodybuilder guy the other day, and I used that. I don't know what's going to happen. He said, send me an email. He's very popular on Facebook. I forget his name exactly, but I was a little scared of him. But I did reach out and I said, I'm not sure if anybody's taken the time to share with you what Juice Plus has to offer. I'd love to do that. So you can do that, you know, with people and just not expect anything. You know, it's a gamble, especially if it's cold market like that. I don't know him, but always think of it as a gift. Okay, and then always remember we are educating, okay? So an educated consumer will stay on Juice Plus and they will share it with others. So you always want to send them that next video, say, hey, I was thinking of you. I think you'd really like this video, especially at 1 minute, 30 seconds or whatever, you know, and help them to stay on Juice Plus, help them to realize that every day that they don't have enough fruits and vegetables, it's like standing in front of an x-ray machine, or help them to realize that the American Cancer Society poster is all fruits and vegetables. Help them to watch Game Changers, where it talks about, you know, having more plants in the diet and what better health you can be in, you know. So just always thinking about educating. All right. And that takes the onus off of you as far as being the educator. You're just a connector to the resources and to our community, and then they can start to see what we're all about. So an educated consumer will understand the why. You know, why am I taking these capsules every day? Why am I paying? Like, you want them to look at their bill and skim over it, right? Just think, oh, this is never on the chopping block. It's never on the chopping block for me and Doug because we've understood the power of these products to keep us healthy, and that without our health, there's nothing else. You know, we could have all the money in the world, but if you don't have your health, you really don't feel like you have anything, right? So we want to make sure they understand why they're paying the money every month. Okay, so that comes with education. Then we want to talk to as many people every day as we can. So you want to come up with your own activity goal. We've heard it said 2 people a day, 2 new people a day. That's what I started with 21 years ago. They said share with 2 people a day, 5 days a week, and you'll grow a qualified business. And so that's what I did. I had 2 cassette tapes with me every day. They said you're not fully dressed unless you have your tapes on you. So you guys don't need to do that. But and sometimes it's harder because you don't have a physical thing to give out, but it's also cheaper for you, and it's also quicker. Giving out a cassette tape, you don't necessarily get them back in time, and they don't watch them. With a DVD, a link to what used to be DVDs, they can respond faster. They can watch faster, respond faster. And then you want to always plant seeds, plant seeds about the business, plant seeds about Juice Plus, because over time, and you've heard this on other lunch and learns, it's going to pay off for you. Where people may not want it right now in the season that they're in, but later they will. Like Doug just had that happen with the Doggets, where, they knew we were doing Juice Plus for many years, but then finally something happened where they said, oh, we want to get it now, and same with the business. That happens with the business too. So always planting seeds, filling your funnel of people and networking with people so that you're not hammering on the same 5 people all the time, right? Because that's very uncomfortable for everybody. You want to have a plethora of people that you've planted little seeds here and there. And it does take a number of people and a number of exposures. And I'm going to explain the exposures part in just a second. In Corinthians, it says, he who sows sparingly will also reap sparingly, and he who sows bountifully will also reap bountifully. So don't we want to reap bountifully? So we need to sow seeds a lot, okay? So here's exposures, all right? And this is a great teaching by Wendy Campbell. I've learned so much from her. She is a millionaire in our Juice Plus business and somebody who has the ultimate passion. If you want to listen to her, let us know, because we'll send you those audios, whatever. So you move people with education. You move them from being a prospective customer to being a customer. But when they just order one time, that's a sale. We want them to be a solidified customer. So that takes that education and understanding of why they're taking it in order for them to continue to reorder. Now, it does help that they're in the system and they're on automatic reorder. And so I think that helps a lot for them to know that they're kind of in that cycle. And I always tell people, don't worry, if you're not ready, I won't let it ship without, you being ready and everything. But there's something I think about it that helps us, that I remember a statistic, I haven't checked it, but it's like an 85% reorder rate for our customers. So once you have them in the system, you don't have to put in a new order all the time. I love that. So from being a prospect to a customer to a solidified customer. If you have some background, if you could mute. And
Could you make me a co-host?
Yeah. So you move from customer to solidified customer. Sometimes people will see the business right away when they become a customer, but sometimes through educational exposures and creating them to be a solidified customer or raving fan, they then become a distributor, which we now call partner. And then you still, even though you think, okay, they're in the loop, they've signed up, you still have a job. You still have to educate, you still have to invite. It still takes a number of exposures for that partner to become a partner with goals, okay? So always our job is to educate and not get hung up on the results, just the activity. We go through the activity, we don't really think about, oh, they're latching on or they're not. We just have to continue to do our job. So we want to become a professional, a resource for people, and remember that we're the messenger and the advertisement, but we're not the message. So we can't get personally and emotionally attached to the outcome. The more you're, quote, presenting instead of giving a video or a presentation or an event, then you're going to be emotionally invested. Okay. So just really trying to keep that you are the messenger, not the message. They're not rejecting you if they say no, N-O. And the other thing about if they say no, they don't actually say no a lot of times, but we always have to remember they don't K-N-O-W what we know. They don't know what we know. So our job is still to educate. Even if they've said an objection, our job is still to educate. To say, oh, I understand what you're saying. I just want to let you know, blah, 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 so that you can continue that conversation. Just remember to be as excited as you would be like you're sharing a good restaurant. Like we just talked about Green Bar. Oh my gosh, we can't say enough about Green Bar. If you're in South Florida, you got to go to Green Bar, and so that's how you can share with confidence and excitement and not worry about what people think, which is hard because that's kind of a natural human tendency. So the other thing is to have the come on along attitude, or let's. So, hey, I'm going on this event tonight. I'd love for you to come on along. Or, I'm going to a salad and jar party. I'd love for you to come on along. Or, hey, let's hop on this Zoom together, so that they feel like it's a personal invitation and they're just coming on along. So say you're new in the business and you just signed up. I love it. I think that being new, it's the perfect time to say, I don't know what I'm doing, but I'm loving it. I'm loving all I'm learning. Come on along, learn with me. Let's learn together. I think that's one of the best times to do that. And you can do that as a seasoned person too. You can still say, oh my gosh, I'm loving what I'm learning. I don't know everything. It's okay that you don't know everything. Come on along with us. Let's learn together. Okay. Remember, you can't say the right thing to the wrong person. So those people, you just have to keep moving, right? You can't say the right thing to the wrong people. And you can't say the wrong thing to the right person. You wanna find those positive people, those open people. All right. And we already talked about no means don't know or not now. All right. So there's a line to infinity. I want you to keep that picture in your head, that it's not just those people who are right in your contact every day. There is a line to infinity of people who do not know about Juice Plus or the opportunity. There's so many people. It's amazing. All right. And then what do you do with those people who are in your family or friends who are not listening? You say next, but you come back to them. It's like this little choo-choo train here. Mickey Mouse is still going to go around to the stop again, but he's not going to stay there. He's going to keep going around on that train and circle around. So you circle around back and invite people to the next event, or one that you think that they would like, or you give them an audio that you think they would like, but you don't get hung up on that one person or the couple people. You keep building, you keep moving on. Okay. And then let's talk about telling your story. A lot of it, I love one of the first books that I recommend for anybody who's new is Dale Carnegie, How to Win Friends and Influence People. Because really one of the things they really like to hear is their own name, and they like to talk about their own selves, right? So we want to listen more than we talk. We want to listen and ask really good questions. That's really just conversation. If you can become a good conversationalist and relax in the conversation, you're going to go farther, okay? Not, we call it verbally vomiting all over people about Juice Plus, but really just being there for people, checking on them, especially during this time, reaching out and saying, hey, I'd really love to catch up with you. Do you have time to talk? I used to put it on my calendar that Sundays would be a day I would call family, because Sundays I'm more relaxed. And I just thought, okay, I might neglect them all week long. So I want to make sure I contact family, and especially family that might be on my memory jogger list of people who I'd like to share Juice Plus with one day, right? So really listening and finding out what they're up to, what problems they have, and we have a lot of good solutions. So it will come up in conversation. You have to relax and not have a big agenda going in. And then, so say you are sharing your story, you want to share with enthusiasm or conviction why you chose to use Juice Plus, okay? So what made sense to you? And what experience have you had or those people around you? And I love that Randy Matthews brought it back to that. As far as compliance, you want to talk about why am I using Juice Plus? Me personally, why am I using it? When I pass by our pill jar, I don't want to take those capsules, truthfully, but I don't want to age faster either. And I don't want to get sick. Those are my reasons why I take Juice Plus. And I could just say that to somebody, right? I'm so thankful my friend introduced this to me, and I could say what I just told you guys, right? And I said it with conviction and enthusiasm. It doesn't have to be complicated. You just have to talk to more people. All right. And remember, we're not presenting. We're not saying, too much. We're not saying Juice Plus has 30 fruits and vegetables. They're raw. They're vine ripened. There's bilberries. There's elderberries. There's, all these different things. You want to talk about you and why it made sense to you. People can't judge that. Okay. Then you give them an audio or a video or an event to attend, okay? And then you follow up. The purpose of us sharing our little story is to make people curious. Then we'll have more conversation. It's not to blurt out everything all at once. It's to make people curious. There's give and take in a conversation. All right, so I always lean back on that's why I'm so thankful I learned about Juice Plus, whether it's somebody having allergies or going to the doctor, or I might lead in with that. It's good to have like your own lead in sentence. That's a good one for me. And here's a little bit of structure for stories if you want. I can use this. I first heard about Juice Plus, I could say from a friend, very close friend. Made sense to me because I knew I wasn't eating healthy. I knew I definitely wasn't eating a lot of fruits and vegetables. Since I've been taking it, oh my gosh, blah, blah, blah. I could go on and on, right? Okay, so that's the structure. First heard about it, made sense, since I've been taking it. All right, and if you've just started taking it, you don't have to do the sense. Or you could say what I hope, to achieve, or what I've heard happens is. All right, telling your story will give your listener how Juice Plus is shared person to person, why you decided to use it, the intellectual process of it, and how you're feeling emotionally or physically since you decided to add it. So that will give your listener all those things. Then you send them either your website. We're going to have a pretty good website coming up in November, so we'll see how that looks, whether we can share just our website. There might be certain parts of the website you share. I just wouldn't send them right to the homepage. I'd find something that you specifically talked about, and then I would share my own personal website. Everybody should have their own iteration of their name, .juiceplus.com. If you don't, get with your sponsor. And then you can share a YouTube video by text or email, okay? I usually do text. I hate it when they say, okay, I'll give you my email address. I'm like, no, can you give me your text? I do pretty much everything by text. And then, of course, there's Facebook Messenger. You could share in that way also. And then some people do a web walk. They take people on Zoom or on the phone to their juiceplus.com website and they walk them through things, okay? There's so many different ways, but basically you make people curious by just sharing a little bit of your story and why it made sense to you. Then you share some kind of education and then you follow up and you make sure you make an appointment to follow up within like that day or the next day. Because really those videos are only like 7, 11, 6 minutes. It doesn't take very long. If they're excited, they don't need a whole turnaround time to listen. This is an example of Stacy Turner. I met her at a trade show and I had a booth with Juice Plus. I gave her some gummies. Her child was there. And I called her after I gave her some information and she hadn't listened. And then call number 2, she hadn't listened. Call number 3, she says she stood by the answering machine. That's back when there was one. And so she was like, oh, she felt bad because she had not listened to the tape, okay? And then call number 4, she actually answered because now she had an answer for me, right? She said, I listened, or no, I don't know if she listened, but she said, my husband said, no, vitamins don't work. I'm like, good, that's perfect. Let me send you this VHS tape to show him. And it was by Dr. Du Bois, and it was all about how it's not a vitamin. So I knew that was a great tape to send. So then they watched it together and she said yes, or he said yes to Juice Plus, and then she said yes to being a virtual franchisee. And now she's a national marketing director. Sometimes we get hung up on that call number 1 or call number 2 or call number 3 even, where you've called 3 times. It's like, what's the deal? And then call number 4, her husband said no. That was an objection. So sometimes we get objections, but it's our job to be that bigger person, to take a deep breath and say, oh, that's okay, and give them a good solution, because the whole point of us even having a conversation is she actually did want it. It's just she had to overcome, objections, and also listen to the tape and all that stuff. So sometimes we have to hold people's hands through the process, and sometimes we get discouraged before we even get to the end of the process. So make sure you're not stalking people, but usually we're not. And make sure you're following through on what they had said. She was interested. So always keep the ball in your court. Sometimes people like to send a link and hope for the best. It's really our job to follow up with people. Pretend like you're at American Express, you have a headset on, and you're working 8 hours, and you're sitting at a chair, and you've got a name and a number, and you're like, hey, just wanted to follow up and see what you thought of that tape. Is this a good time to talk? Or that link, is this a good time to talk? Remind them, hey, when we talked, you said your child doesn't get enough fruits and vegetables. Did you get a chance to watch that DVD or YouTube link that I sent to you? What did you think? And then, over time you're listening, and did Juice Plus make sense to you? And review and so I could say, hey, did Juice Plus make sense to you? From my family, oh my gosh, it's been, so great, blah, blah, blah. And then, as you're talking, also, you could talk about what relatives they may have shared this information with also. And while they're excited, you could say, let's share with your sister, your brother, your mother, any of those people too. So then you could say, it's so simple to get started. I'm so thankful that we did. Would you like to go ahead and get started? I can show you how. A lot of times I say, I already have your name and your phone number, and sometimes I even have their address, especially if they're relatives or friends. I just need your credit card, and I could go ahead and put in your order. So sometimes we have to be people that push people off the fence too. So if they say like, yes, 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 they love everything, then you have to go for it. Ask for the sale, which is one of the most uncomfortable things, but we have to do it or they won't do it. They need somebody to lead them down that road. All right. And then you can also follow up with people on a 3-way call. And so what that is sometimes we want to help our new people to answer the questions, and they're worried about following up maybe on the phone. So you can say, okay, you share, make sure they've watched, and then let's call together. You could do it that way. Or say they're interested in sharing with other people, they're interested in the business, that it could be a 3-way call for that. So the sponsor and the leader can be the wind beneath your wings. I like for you to be able to earn while you learn, and not wait till you learn everything. You will never learn everything. All right. So lean back on, say Alex, we were talking to Alex earlier. Say Alex talks to a friend, but he doesn't know a whole lot. Alex could say, hey, I don't know a whole lot. I know we've been taking this. I'm really excited. Anna's had a lot of good energy, a lot of good results. It's been a part of our family for years. I'm going to share it with my friends and family. I wonder whether you would like to, get a little bit of education. The friend says yes. And then Alex says to us, I don't know what to do when I follow up with him. Can one of you guys be on the phone? And we'll say yes. So then Alex tells his friend, hey, I'm going to call with somebody because they know a lot more. They've been doing this longer. They know the research and how it works in the body, all that stuff. So that's how you kind of get, us to help you be the wind beneath your wings. All right. And the experience is what you want them to have. So the experience of having a third party also validate what you're saying to them is a really good idea. And that goes for the product or the business. All right. So we can send people videos or events while we're talking to them. Save yourself some time. And like if I'm at the grocery store and I've talked to somebody and they're like, oh yeah, that sounds really good, I'll say, okay, let me go ahead and text you some information. What's your text number? Like, I'm not going to say, can I? You can if you want. But I assume they're going to want me to send them information if they've given me all the right signals. All right. So while I'm there, I'm going to go ahead and text them a video or the next event. You can send them the flyer. And if you're not on Voxer, the Team Transformers new chat, you want to make sure you're on there. That's where we send flyers for events. but also on Team Transformers in the announcements. That's where you'll find flyers as well. So it could be upcoming events or that you share a YouTube video. All right. The other thing that I like to do is friend the person on Facebook so I won't lose track of them. You know, I actually do lose track of people because I have so many, but eventually I might come back to that conversation if I find that piece of paper or I say, how did I know this person? Then I start that conversation again, or I see my messenger that I've, kind of dropped off messenger with that person. But it's like a safety net to go ahead and friend them on Facebook so that I know I won't lose them. And they'll also be exposed to what I'm posting. So that's always good to friend them on Facebook. And then the other thing is, if you have friends who have businesses, why not promote them on Facebook? If it's your chiropractor or your hairstylist, whatever, anytime you spend and pay more attention to that other person, they're going to reciprocate and start wondering, what are you up to? All right. So always remember that. The other thing is to seriously fill out a memory jogger. This used to be something that we really hammered in the beginning, to really write down names of people that it doesn't mean that you're going to contact them right away, but it's people in your life. So when I first started, I used to work at Children's Diagnostic and Treatment Center. So I would remember like the first few people that I was really close with. But once my mind went there, I'd remember like 10 more people. So I would make that category my list for them. Then I would say, okay, my Ohio relatives. I might remember my very favorite aunt and uncle, but then I expand my mind while I'm thinking, and I think, oh yeah, my cousin here. Oh yeah, my cousin here. All these other people. So then you write those people, and then you think, oh yeah, I went to college with these people, or I went to high school with these people. So really taking the time to fill out a list, a memory jogger, knowing that you'll use it maybe for the next 4 to 5 years, that you're not going to hammer them right now or anything. But what it does, it actually helps you to think things through. It helps you to realize that you have a lot more people that you could talk to than those people that you're always in contact with, okay? That you could take that time on a Sunday to pick up the phone to call those relatives or connect with that college buddy or whatever, things like that. So it's more of a 4 to 5 year plan, depending on how many people you write on the memory jogger. What's good is to set your timer and write out the people, okay? And it also helps your sponsor to help you so that you can kind of go over those people. So for now, though, you might want to just make a list of maybe 30 to 50 names, setting that timer and jogging your memory, all right? And that can be family, it could be friends, it could be neighbors. I love the way Jay Martin says, you don't need to start thinking about Dubai or another country if your neighbor down the street is not on Juice Plus. So that's very convicting for us as we think of our neighbors. But you want to think about, have I shared with my neighbors? Maybe walk the dog a little bit more, talk to the other dog people or whatever. Have I shared with the people I go to church with, my coworkers, people I do business with, like the hair salon, the dry cleaner, the accountant, whatever. Schools, we have so many avenues now for schools too, especially with the Tower Garden. Gyms, those people are always looking for something to give them that edge. So those are always good categories. And I'm sure personal trainers, aerobic instructors, all those types of people. So you can also use the products to jog your memory. You could say, okay, who do I think would love the Tower Garden? And you could write those people. Who do I think would love the Complete? And you could write those people. Who do I think would love the business? And you could write those people. So there's all different ways that you can jog your memory to fill out a memory jogger, okay? And then when we have physical events, it's good to jog our memory in that way. So say there's an event in Utah and we know somebody in Utah, then we would use that event that's on the virtual office to say, oh, I can connect with that person because there's an event in Utah. So when the events start happening again. And then, of course, social media. We're always doing that. That's kind of a given to jog our memory. And then expanding your warm market. Where will you go? What can you do to expand your warm market? What are your interests? Do you like painting? Do you like running? You could join a running group. Do you like, crocheting? whatever. Find groups of people. Do you have a certain niche? For me, I used Juice Plus for pregnancy. I had a child that was high functioning autism. I now have a child that's in the army. Those are niches, of people that I now can talk to because of my experiences. Other people have other experiences, and that's why there's so many different groups on Facebook. But you can also have physical groups or Zoom groups. You can advertise events looking for those specific people too. So figure out what's your niche. What are you about, and start to form a community around that. And continue to collect friends and add them to your list. The other things I always talk about with expanding your warm market is arrive early, stay late. That's how you have those more intimate conversations with people. Be open to the people around you, nod and say hello and see who those positive people are. That's one reason why I met Stacy. That's one reason why I met Michelle Fletcher in the parking lot of a gym because I was open to the people around me. She was open to the people around. So you want to look for those positive people that are like, hey, how you doing? Those might be good people for the business, right? And then meeting like-minded people that are like you, health conscious or exercise conscious, whatever your niche is. So just remember, there's this many people out there for you to be able to build your customer base and build your team, and the line is to infinity. So I hope that helped you. I'm going to now turn it over to our leaders to share a little bit more what struck them and what advice they might give. All right, you guys, turn on your cameras if you can.
Wow. I don't want to be the first one all the time.
You can, Lori.
We appreciate it.
Yes, we do. That was awkward silence.
But wow, that was such a great training. This really, everything that you said gets to be repeated again. And I hope we get to see them. And I hope our new people get to see them. Those that did not come to the meeting were not able to. So one of the things that happened to me when I first heard about Juice Plus, I was at a BNI meeting, which is a business meeting to promote your own business. And my husband and I had another business we were starting up. And this lady stood up. Sorry, I know it's noisy for the room. This lady stood up and she said, I'm going to talk about fruits and vegetables in a capsule. And immediately my antennas went up, and I was expecting to hear something that I could disagree with. But by the time she finished, when she sat down, I said, I'm interested in the product and I want to become a partner. But the reason I did that was because I listened. So if you hear other people talking, listen, really listen to them. A lot of times we multitask and we're not really listening. We think we are, but they just might say one thing that you can respond to that might be an issue that they have, but you might have missed it because you were looking somewhere else at the same time that you were talking. So along with everything that Sharon said, learn to listen better.
What was the last thing? Learn to listen better? Yeah, and make them feel really special,
I thought that was a great training. I don't know where that's been for a long time, but I think it needs to come back. We'll do that multiple times. But I would say that a huge thing is to what you call it, like stay connected. There's definitely a correlation. See, in most things, if Alex and I were to both go get a job at Home Depot or something, right? And we both are working a shift today, we'd show up at a certain time, and then there'd be like other workers there. We'd be in the store. We'd be assigned the hours. We'd have tasks that were assigned to do, and there'd be accountability not only to the boss that we get our work done, but like if I'm stacking the fertilizer bags, and Alex is over there just kind of hanging out in the chair, I'd be like, come on, Alex, help me out over here. So when you think through our business that way and realize how virtual our business really is, there's not really any accountability. You don't have a boss. All the things that are beautiful about this business, that when you learn how to work this business and you really work it, and it starts providing you like an awesome income, like you might look at Sharon and I and say, wow, man, they're like living the dream. Yes, we are living the dream. We have time freedom, we make great money, but I mean, what's driving us to be on Lunch and Learns 4 days a week and then doing other events? By the way, not only was there a Lunch and Learn just now, but we watched the European conference starting at like 9 in the morning until whenever it was done. We watch Fraser Brooks trainings. We watch trainings all the time. We're involved. We're engaged. We're going to work. That's why it pays us like a job. So with that said, you don't have to do this full time, but you do need to be connected to something that's tangible. Okay? If you let it be completely virtual, where you have no boss, you have no community, you have no accountability, you're not going to have much of a paycheck either. Okay? So with that said, stay connected. Like stay connected. Lunch and Learns. I mean, I look at some of the people on here. Sandy's on here. Kristen, I don't know which Kristen it is, but either one. Nalani. Nalani knows, she's forgotten more about this than I probably even know. But she's here. She's consistent all the time. Why? Because she's staying what we call around the campfire. Oh, it's Winters. Hi, Winters. Staying around the campfire because she's working, and this is the job. So when you're at a regular job, there's a lot of time you waste at a job around the water cooler or talking to people at lunch and things like that. But that's what we're doing here. We're hanging out. We're talking to our colleagues. We're getting inspired. We're setting up lunch dates, Sandy. We're on the way over pretty soon. But you have to stay connected. If you aren't connected, it's going to be very difficult, because you're just going to, as Jim Rohns, it's going to be like the birds that just kind of float away. Like, oh, I forgot. Oh, yeah, Juice Plus, I haven't done that in like a week. So if you stay connected and you stay engaged, you're going to be good. Yes, the 15-minute smoking break, Nicole. But you talk to people on the smoking break at work. Not that I went on it, but we all know what you mean. So yeah, there's a lot. Oh my gosh, my wedding ring just fell off. That's good. You also meet like weight loss coaches in our community. That's what I've done. And now my wedding ring fell off. All right, so that's my advice. Stay connected. You must stay connected.
All right, Sandy's ready.
Hey, sorry, I was trying to unmute earlier, but they had music going here and I have my headphones in, so it was crazy. But yeah, I don't remember that training. I don't know how long ago that was, Sharon, but I like the basics. So I thought that was awesome. And I hope a lot of people get to go back and have time to watch that. What I would say that I always try and tell newer people that I talk to is don't get lost in all the resources, because we do have so many awesome things. We have the Campbell Team website, we have the Freedom Revolution. I mean, there's just endless resources out here. You could spend probably years watching videos. But what we have is it's very simple. It's fruits and vegetables. It's concentrated produce. Just share with people, because everyone knows that they don't eat enough and they need more. So my advice would be not to get lost in resources and just make sure that you're talking to people.
That's great.
And if I have a distraction, she's my assistant down here. Sorry.
Okay, we have some more advice for the new people or for each other.
Sharon, I'd just like to say thank you for this presentation, because this week going through the Freedom Revolution, there's a lot of great information that I found.
Mm-hmm.
Sometimes there's a lot of information. It's very condensed together and it's hard to process everything in the time frame that I have to try to sit there and make sense of it, being relatively new to things.
Right.
But you just took a lot of the information about building the business and condensed it. And I took 4 pages of notes. So I want to thank you because this was incredibly helpful for me.
Good. Oh my gosh, that makes me so happy. We're gonna
Good.
celebrate at lunch. Thank you, Alex.
All right,
Wow.
thank you, Alex. We're gonna go celebrate then.
We're gonna celebrate Alex.
Anybody that's down here, we're going to Green Bar after this. If you want to go to Green Bar, it's got the best vegetarian taco salad in the world. And Vanessa used to be a chef there, so she's still holding out and won't tell me how to make it, so I got to go buy it.
I know I have to go and do a video with you guys. I've been busy, but one of these days I'm gonna put the video with my own version because I cannot give you the green bar, but I have a pretty good version of it.
Oh yeah.
House, and we'll make it.
She
Yep.
she keeps promising she's gonna do a Tasty Tuesday Facebook Live. We're waiting for it. This Tuesday, Vanessa. This is your Tuesday. I feel it.
Oh,
I
me
know.
too.
It'll be my Tuesday.
So Nicole had some really good advice here. Use your upline. Your upline is, whoever sponsored you, whoever's above them, you can also use your sideline sometimes, but those are your friends in the business. So she says she used to contact and still contacts her upline 7 years later frequently for anything, especially when speaking to new people. Sometimes you need that extra confidence before you go in and talk to somebody, or to get you excited, or just to remind you. Like sometimes I'll do that on my way. I'll wait till the last minute always, but I'm on my way to meet with a doctor or somebody. I'll walk through Julie. I'll be like, okay, I'm on my way to do this. Do you have any advice? And sometimes she can respond, sometimes she can't. I wait too late. But, it never hurts to bounce things off of your uplines. Definitely a good practice.
I was reminded when Sandy was talking about all the resources, when both Alex and Sandy were talking about it, what came to my mind is something that I forgot to mention that I do with new people. With all of those resources, I just assure them that they don't have to know it all, that we're going to take it one step at a time. And I just let them know what their first goal is, to get that first promotion. And we will just look at that like with blinders on. Nothing else, unless they have questions about the compensation plan. And we do touch only on the compensation plan as it relates to getting them to their first promotion.
Right. Look at it more like a live courses. And the activity is really with that person in the business that you can lock arms with and say, hey, I'm going to talk to this person today and this person, and coming up with a strategy or game plan. I like that. Really good. Nanette, did you want to say something? I saw you for a second. Okay. Kristen?
Hold on, sorry. I'm just kind of like getting in the car, getting out of the car. I think it was really great. I think I needed to hear all of that because it helps me too. So even when you getting some success in the business,
Uh-oh. Nanette faded on us.
the next person.
We missed what the middle part was.
Oh, sorry.
Now we can hear you.
I just got off the airplane not too long ago, so I'm just kind of getting back home.
So maybe the last part of what you said.
Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Okay, hold on. What was the last thing I said? I think I was just saying how keeping plugged in can also help you, no matter how long you've been in the business, help you to know better how to talk to the next person or remind you of something or give you another point of view about it. And it also helps your own belief in the business.
Right. Absolutely. Yeah. So you want to think of it as like you wouldn't just leave your phone and not charge it ever. So we always need to be a little bit recharged in the community to know that, oh, that's normal, or hey, here's an idea. So you never know what's going to strike you. So it's good to plug into as many things as you can. Just not only plug into things, but also put it into activity, like Sandy's saying. that's how you really learn the most and become empowered, is when you actually start sharing and getting success. So I want to encourage you guys to do that. And we will be back Monday at noon. Also, Monday night, we're having a recognition and a talk about qualification, which does apply to many of you who are on here. So anybody who's QSC and above can qualify their business, and it's a really good idea. And so to learn more about that by Julie Herbst and Stacy Turner and Kirsten Hood, that's going to be Monday night. That flyer went out on Voxer. I'm not sure it's in the announcements, but it's on Voxer. And if you're not on Voxer, let us know. We'll help add you there. Okay? Any last?
Hey, Sharon.
Yeah.
I'm
Hey.
sorry. I was away from my phone, so I couldn't unmute myself when you asked me to add. But the only thing I might add is, you know, everything everybody said was just on point, and I'm not sure that I can really add much other than just be yourself, and it's all about communication and just keeping relationships going and being interested in other people, truly authentic and genuine.
That's perfect advice. Thank you. What a great way to end. Thank you, Kristen. Appreciate that.
Love it.